Alright, Mara. We're going to go ahead and make a video about this word here called fractions. Do you know what the word fracture means?
Mm-mm.
So if you take like a big rock and hit it with a big hammer, it fractures into two pieces. Or more pieces, right? So we're going to...
Rocks are unbreakable.
We're going to fracture. Rocks are not unbreakable. All things are breakable. With that said, we are going to...
What about concrete?
Concrete can be broken too. You ever seen Daddy's driveway? But with that said, look at the driveway behind the garage. We're going to fracture these apples into fractions. So, an unfractured means not fractured. Unfractured.
Which is almost the same thing as fracture.
Guess what that equals? If we have one unfractured apple, that looks like this. One apple. Okay? This is unfractured. Let's fracture into two. To do that, we're just going to take the one apple and we're going to go right down the middle.
I wanted to cut.
Oh, I
Take
know.
the seeds out.
Question. How many fractions do we have now?
Two.
Two. So this
But
is...
if you had this apple, it would make three.
Yeah, but we're not doing that just yet. Let's start with the one. We divided.
Daddy,
Yeah, that's a seed.
you can't play out there.
We can. We'll do that some other time.
Today, maybe?
Maybe later today, yeah. We had one apple, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did we divide it?
By cutting it.
By cutting it. How many pieces did we fracture it into?
Two.
Two. So guess what I write right here?
Number two.
Yep. So we took one and we divided it into two.
Daddy,
Yeah?
you know that's my... I tried to make a two like that. It didn't ever work.
You'll get good at it with time. Now, guess what we call this fraction? We call it half. This is a half, and that's a half. Could we take this and fracture it some more? I don't want you to cut this. Please listen to me. Please listen to me. Do not cut this. Put that knife down. Thank you. This is a very sharp knife. Only Daddy should use this. Now, is that a whole apple? Is that a whole apple? Okay. But it has a cut, right? How many halves of an apple are there?
Well, it's just one.
So, is this a half?
Mm-hmm.
Is this a half?
Mm-hmm.
So if I told you this is a half, can you look at the paper? If this thing here is a half, how many of these do I have in one apple? If this is a half,
Can I do a plus?
if this is a half, and this is a half, how many of these should I have for one whole apple?
One,
No,
two.
I should have two. So, 1/2 plus 1/2 equals one whole apple.
It's kind of like...
And does that make sense? Because if I'm telling you that this is a half, that's a half, and this is a half, does it make sense that these two things together make one whole apple?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So now I'm going to teach you, that's halves. I'm going to show you what it looks like to make a fourth. And these are called quarters. So we have halves, And we're going to divide these. Take the whole apple like this. And you can just go straight down.
That sounded loud.
And now, how many fractures do we have?
4.
Yep, we have 4. So,
Daddy, it's kind of like you're teaching me how to cut an apple.
I'm also teaching you how to cut an apple.
It's the same thing. You're teaching me that.
So if we have 1, is that a 1?
Yeah.
How many of these go into my 1?
4.
So this right here, Mara, we can take the seeds out after this. I promise you. If I'm telling you this is a 4th, 1/4. That's what this means. 1 divided by 4. We took 1 whole apple and we divided it into how many pieces? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to write another 4th. Okay. Can you look at the paper? If this is a 4th, Mara, if this is a 4th, and this is a 4th, how many more 4ths do I have? How many are you holding? How many 4ths?
I'm holding 1.
You're holding 1. If you grab the other one, how many 4ths will you be holding?
2.
2. So I'm going to write another 4th on the paper here. Can we put this up here for a second? I wrote another 4th for the 3rd 4th. What am I going to write here for my 4th 4th? I have my 1st 4th, I have my 2nd 4th, I have my 3rd 4th, and now I'm going to need a 4th 4th. What am I going to write for my 4th 4th?
A 1 and a 3.
1 divided by, because how many pieces did we cut it into?
4.
1 divided by 4. So these fractions, these are what we call fractions. This is a full, Mara.
Daddy, look it.
I
There's
understand.
all 4 seeds in it.
I see that. How many seeds do you have?
4.
4. It's coincidental, huh?
Yeah.
Look at this. How many 4ths are here? 1, 2, 3.
4.
That's where this 4 number comes from. When you take your apple and put it back like this,
It looks like it's just cut into 2.
what did I call this?
Order.
Nope. It was above that earlier. Can you read this word?
Half.
Half. How many halves do I have?
2.
Why is this number a 2?
Because you cut it into 2.
Because I cut it into 2. Can I get a high five for that awesome answer? Good job.
That sounded like a good high five.
Question. Why is this number a 4 when I do that?
Since you cut it in now into a 4.
Good job. High five. Question. Why is this number a 1?
Because you first started with a 1.
Because you first started with a 1. You just got fractions, kiddo. This is 1/2. This is 1/4. This is also a 4th. Like that.
I knew that.
Right? Question. Could you put these together to give me a 1/2 and a 1/2? Go ahead and do that.
What do you mean, like put it into a rules like the first time?
Show me a half and a half. You can put it down on that if you want. It's probably going to pop open like that. Oh, good job, you sneaky girl. How'd you do that?
It's sticky.
Oh, it's sticky.
You know when you finish eating an apple, your hands get all sticky?
So, is that this and this? What is this called?
Half
What is this called?
plus.
That's a plus. What is this thing called? You said that's a half? This is a
That's a
plus. And what is this?
half.
And what does that equal?
1.
Can you read this word?
Wallet.
It's whole. Whole. What's this word?
Apple.
So
Whole apple.
the one.
Whole apple.
This
One.
this right here. Half.
Half plus half equals 1 whole apple.
High five. That's awesome.
Ouch.
Aw. Can you kiss?
I hit this hand on the middle.
Mwah.
I
Alright.
hit this hand on the middle